Hey guys, today I have something again for PCVR enthusiasts. This here is the Pimax Dream Air SE. It's a, I would say, stripped down version of the Pimax Dream Air, which is €1,000 or $1,000 cheaper than its big brother. But what exactly are the differences? And who is the Pimax Dream Air SE really for? I'll clear that up in my review today. As always, you can find all the important links and discount options in the description. My name is Thomas and you're watching VoodooDE VR. Let's have some fun with the video and let's go!
VoodooDE.
So here we have the Pimax Dream Air SE. In my case, I have the Slam version. That's the version including the controllers that doesn't require lighthouse base stations. The version I have here is the final production model. The only thing that might still change is the facial interface. So first off, what's the difference to the Pimax Dream Air? And why is the price gap so huge? By far the biggest difference is the display. While the Dream Air features a Sony micro-OLED with 3840 by 3552 per eye at native 90 Hz, the Dream Air SE only offers a micro-OLED with 2560 by 2560, and at 90 Hz it's actually just upscaled from 1920 by 1920. The pancake lenses also have a slightly different design. The lenses on the regular Dream Air are just on another higher level. With the Dream Air SE, the so-called concave elements aren't visible from the outside but form the inner area of the triple layered lenses. Overall, the lenses of the Dream Air SE also look a bit smaller. But let's take a look at what device can actually do and how I experienced it. The comfort, just like the Dream Air, is very good for me personally. It sits well on the face and is really lightweight. You barely notice it while playing. The weight including the head strap is 263 grams. Exactly like the Dream Air, the 4.5 meter cable measured to the breakout box splits right at the back of the head to both sides of the headset, which is very beneficial for the balance. However, for me personally, the cable is too short. I would love 6 meters. Additional, I feel the cable is quite stiff and inflexible. During fast movements with turns, that can get annoying very quickly. The setup is done typically Pimax fashion via the PimaxPlay software. It has improved significantly compared to a few years ago, but it still has its little quirks now and then. For example, it occasionally happens that I had to replug the USB or display port or to restart the PC for the headset to be recognized. Not a tragedy, but annoying. And overall, though, you can adjust a ton of things in the software, an absolute feast for tinkerers. but you can also just leave it like it is and it works fine. I actually made a separate video explaining the functions of the PimaxPlay software. You'll find that linked in the description. It's definitely worth it. The micro-OLED display does a good job. We get very good black levels, text is easy to read. I didn't notice any negative ghosting and the image remains stable and clear even during fast movements. However, the colors do seem a bit weaker or less saturated than on Dream Air. According to Pimax, they are planning to improve that a little bit. It's the same story regarding brightness. You can tell the Dream Air SE is slightly dimmer than Dream Air. For me personally, though, it's still sufficient. But the difference to its big brother, the Dream Air, is actually visible. The image there definitely looks much sharper and clearer due to the noticeable higher resolution. And at 90 Hz, of course, this is due to the fact that the Dream Air SE's image is only upscaled, right? Well guys, I skipped through the lens comparison here because, well, you simply cannot see the difference well enough on the camera. It doesn't make sense to show it, yeah, because the difference is much bigger than you would see it on camera. So you have to believe me here. So Pimax has built pancake lenses into the Dream Air SE. They have a good sweet spot and I had no problems getting everything sharp. The edge-to-edge clarity is also unproblematic. A word of caution though, this is perceived very individually and depends heavily on your eye and head shape, or how close your eyes get to the lenses. At the edges I noticed a slightly chromatic aberration, basically those rainbow colors that appear at the periphery. This isn't bothersome at all though, and it's very minimal. About the same as the Dream Air, I would say. I also didn't notice any distortion, everything looks clear. The binocular overlap, so the area you see with both eyes simultaneously, is definitely large enough. Though I have to stress again that this is a highly subjective experience, guys. So let's get to a point that bothered me. God rays or glare effects. Unfortunately, I noticed these immediately. This will definitely bother some of you quite a bit. Well, it's not as bad as it used to be on the Valve Index, for example, but the lenses of the regular Dream Air are way better, I can tell you. The interpupillar distance, IPD, is adjusted manually in the software. It can be set between 58 and 72 millimeters, which is enough for the vast majority of eyes, right? Later on, the IPD is supposed to be adjusted automatically via eye tracking, which is currently still deactivated. At this point, however, I must mention that the IPD motor on my first Dream Air SE was broken and then starts working after some time. I have no idea why. Nevertheless, Pimax sent me a replacement unit in the interim, and that one worked right out of the box. So let's go to a topic that is personally very important to me, the field of view. It is especially important to mention here that these values turn out completely different for every head and eye shape. Unfortunately, the only thing that helps is trying it out for yourself to find your personal values. Unfortunately, guys, I have to report that I personally experienced a new negative record with the face cushion included with the original shipment. I never had such a small field of view. I measured a horizontal field of view of just 70 degrees and a vertical field of view of 82 degrees. This is crazy. Even a replacement face cushion that Pimax sent me wasn't really any better. While it did improve the field of view to at least 74 degrees horizontally and 86 degrees vertically, it was in return extremely uncomfortable. I want to emphasize once again that most people typically achieve higher values than I do. However, even for me, this result was really poor. And one final reminder, guys, this is the two facial interfaces are not the final version that I tried. So I really hope that Pimax will manage to turn things around here. I told them many times, don't bring the headset with this facial interface. This doesn't make sense. I hope they listen to me. I really hope they listen to me. I mean, with a better facial interface, this could be perhaps a much better headset. But this one here is a no-go what field of view belongs. The field of view depends immensely of the included facial interface here. Without it, I have 102 horizontal and 108 vertical. This is a huge difference. So they should a little bit improve that, right? So when it comes to performance, it's obvious that it depends on your PC, right? So I personally use an Intel 14900K CPU together with an RTX 4090. I had absolutely no performance issues across the board. Only with extremely hardware-hungry simulations like Flight Simulator 2024, you have to turn the settings down a bit. Pimax themselves recommend a minimum of an RTX 2070, an i5 14th generation series and 16 GB of RAM. I mean, without being able to test it myself due to a lack of this hardware, I would advise against buying the headset with such a weak PC. Don't do that. However, due to the lower resolution compared to the Dream Air and having only about half of the pixels count per eye, a significantly weaker PC will definitely be enough in comparison. The performance difference is quite clear. Since I received the Dream Air SE Slam version, the two controllers are included. Compared to the controllers of the Quest 3 or Steam Frame controllers that I could also try, however, they seem very old-fashioned due to the tracking ring that is still present. They work, they track well, but they've just like gone out of fashion, let's say. However, according to Pimax, an update is coming soon. The new ringless controllers are currently being tested. The tracking for both the headset and the controllers, however, works flawlessly in any case. Like its big brother, the Dream Air SE has integrated Tobii eye tracking at 120 Hz. Later on, this will also allow for automatic IPD adjustment. Currently, however, the eye tracking works primarily for dynamic foveated rendering. So this means only the area you're currently looking at is rendered at full resolution. You can even adjust the size and intensity of this in the PimaxPlay software, and it works without any issues. Really nice. Depending on the game, of course, this gives a massive performance boost. By the way, hand tracking is also supposed to be integrated in the Slam version later on. The black and white pass-through, so the view of your real environment through the headset, is absolutely not worth mentioning and completely unsuitable for any mixed reality applications. It's just bad. It's strictly there just to set up your room or play area. The Dream Air SE gets a little bit warm during operation, which is fine for the small form factor. Yeah? It's so small, of course the heat must be somewhere. And I also didn't find the fans bothersome. They are not so loud. Everything is fine. On the Dream Air SE, you can completely remove both sides arms by pushing off a small button, and also the facial interface, which is magnetically, can be removed. This makes everything easy to clean and also opens up potential for third-party accessories. Due to the very small form factor, you basically can't wear glasses under the Dream Air SE. However, you can of course order prescription lenses from third-party providers, and according to Pimax, these will soon be available in their store as well. Yeah, you can only connect controllers to the headset via Bluetooth. There are no additional slots for accessories or anything else. However, Pimax has also released the design for custom 3D printing, so there will certainly be a lot more coming in the future. The sound comes from the slots located in both arms of the headset. As you can imagine, you don't really get a punchy sound out of there. Nevertheless, the sound is absolutely sufficient for normal gaming. I also tested the two built-in microphones. Here you can hear a little sample This is a microphone test with the Pimax Dream Air SE. So let's do some popping sounds, pop, 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 and blowing sounds. And also let's scream a little bit. Looking forward to the results. So as you can hear, it's really okay, right? Definitely enough for multiplayer. By the way, Pimax also announced a DMAS audio strap and a Halo strap, which I will hopefully be able to test then as well. Now let's talk about the price. The Dream Air SE costs $899 or 802 euro for the Lighthouse version without controllers and $1,199 or 1,070 euro for the Slam version, including the controllers, everything plus tax and shipping. That makes it about 1,000 euro or dollars cheaper than the regular Dream Air, which is huge difference. So let's summarize the pros and cons again. I definitely see the good comfort, weight and balance as a pro. The price is also really fine in my eyes for such a high-end device with this small form factor and micro-OLED. A nice bonus is the integrated eye tracking for dynamic foveated rendering, which can later be used for auto IPD. On the negative side is definitely the field of view, which unfortunately was not sufficient in my test. Pimax really needs to deliver a new facial interface here. I also noticed the glare effect of the lenses as a negative. And I would also put the controllers of the Slam version on the negative side. They just aren't up to date anymore, even though they function without any issues. It won't bother many, but the Passthrough is of course absolutely useless for mixed reality, which is quite a shame if you're interested in that. Unfortunately, the cable is very inflexible, too short and annoying if you want to experience room scale games. For seated simulations, of course, this is irrelevant. In brackets, I'll put the PimaxPlay software, which is vastly better than a few years ago, but still has some hiccups now and then. So who should buy the Pimax Dream Air SE? Clearly only people who are interested in the high-end PCVR sector, but want or have to keep an eye on their budget. The Dream Air SE is $1,000 or $1,000 cheaper, but also significantly worse in many aspects than the Dream Air. I also have to say quite clearly that the more expensive Dream Air is a whole lot clearer and sharper and is recommended for those who really want the absolute nonplusultra. Above all, a larger field of view. It is currently my favorite VR headset and in my eyes absolutely recommendable, the Dream Air. Yeah. So now if you are interested in the Dream Air SE or Dream Air, you can save another $15 on the Dream Air SE and $25 on the Dream Air by using my link in the description. And you even get a direct contact person whom I can forward you if you have any problems. If you pre-order, you also get free shipping, 2 face cushions, 50% voucher for the DMAS head strap and 50% of the ringless controllers that are supposed to come out in the future. As always, you can conveniently find everything on my homepage VoodooDE-VR.com. Let me know in the comments what you think of the headset and definitely let me know if you pre-ordered it and if you have any questions. Thank you for watching and see you next time in virtual reality. See ya!
VoodooDE